Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks. Good morning.
My name is Sheila. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I apologize if I'm a little tired. Not quite used to the time on the East Coast yet.
Oh my gosh, that is fine. I'm tired too. I get up at 2 a.m. for the morning show, so we're in this
Oh,
together right
perfect. Well, I watched the morning show, so I understand a little bit of getting up early to
now.
do the morning show.
You get a little taste of it. Will, this is so cool to talk to you. I'm so excited. You're such a part of so much of my childhood pop culture, from My Date with the President's Daughter, Kim Possible, The Naked Mole Rap, and of course, obviously, you're arguably most beloved as Eric Matthews in Boy Meets World. And now you and Danielle and Ryder have this really great rewatch podcast, Pod Meets World. And most excitingly, you are making a stop at the Met in Philly, where the show is actually set. So going into this, do you expect a different energy from the crowd in the show's hometown? And when you meet fans from Philly, I imagine they have like quite a sense of pride. I always think it's so cool the show is set here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we always felt like Philadelphia was another character, where even people said like, but you don't really show Philly at all, and it's just kind of been in a Philadelphia, a Phillies hat or something. We said no, but we know the vibe, and we were happy with the idea that the show took place in Philly, and we hadn't been there. The show never went, which is one of the things we were amazed about. It's like, why don't we go and shoot something in Philly for the show that takes place in Philly? But we never had a chance to do that. So we're excited to actually bring it back to the Matthews home, which is pretty exciting. So the crowds that we've had so far have been unbelievable. We've always said we have the best fans in the world. So to go to Philadelphia, to be at the Met at such a cool place, and to have the special guest stars we're bringing, we really can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's on September 30th, which is, I think, 2 days or 3 days away from the actual 30th anniversary of when the show aired. So this is like we love doing the Kids Want to Jump tour. We're excited everywhere we go, but the one in Philly, this is kind of like our actual 30th anniversary party. So we're pretty excited.
That is so exciting. And since you never got to go with the show, now you get to kind of come 30 years later. So that's really special.
Right. It only took 30 years to get us there, but we're very excited.
Now you're going to be here. And speaking of Philly, Will, how do the Matthews live in an obvious mainline existence on a grocery store manager and frequently unemployed housewife's salary?
We have no idea. We're still, after 30 years, trying to just figure out the layout of the house. So we still have the whole backyard, side yard debate, and every episode we're rewatching, it's like, well, wait, why did Mr. Feeney go towards his car this way this time? But last time he went that way. So is that the driveway? Why is that the front door? It's an MC Escher house. That's what we figured out. It's just the house is whatever it needs to be, whenever it needs to be that. So yeah, we assume that Alan has some income that we are unaware of on the show. That's the only possible answer, is there's something he's doing late night that nobody knows about.
Well, okay, your character, Eric, he famously went from this girl crazy cool guy to a much wackier, dumber, crazy funny character. Which of those two personalities were more fun for you, and why is the answer Place with Squirrels?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it was more fun when I was the wackier, kind of dumber character. It was just so much fun to play. He was a cartoon character by that point. When I started to play Ron Stoppable on Kim Possible, it was Eric. So it was not that big a jump to have to. I had to put my voice went up a little higher, but other than that, he was essentially the same. So we always say, especially by the end of the show, 5, 6, 7, those seasons, it was kind of two shows. So Corey and Sean and Topanga had their show going on, which got a lot more dramatic. And then they kind of would cut to Eric for the wacky fun stuff. So it's like, let's put him in a couch. Let's dress him like Plays with Squirrels. Let's do that kind of stuff. Let's have him sneeze the lottery numbers. Like, there you go. That's Eric. And so we still joke about that as we're doing the rewatch. We're wondering what those later episodes are going to be like. And we always talk about when we're going to see the transition. We thought it was going to be kind of abrupt, but we're slowly starting to see the dumb creep into Eric about halfway through season 3. So we're getting there.
I never realized till you said it that Ron Stoppable is later seasons Eric. That's such a great, you're right.
He is. Yeah, it's just in the middle of the night, Eric is pulled away to go on missions. That's Ron Stoppable.
Let me ask you this. Pembroke University, party school or commuter school?
Yes. I think anytime, I love how it's the college that accepts both Eric Matthews and Topanga Lawrence. She gets into Yale, but she decides to go to Pembroke where Eric goes. So yeah, none of it really makes a whole lot of sense. I think they just needed us all in the same school.
I've heard it's based on a mix of, I think, Penn and St. Joe's, sort of loosely.
Is it? Okay. I doubt that, though, only in that there's no way Eric would have gotten into either of those
Penn.
schools. So
St.
yes, I love that. Both my brothers went to school in Pennsylvania. So it's yeah. One went to Dickinson
Cool.
and one went to Franklin and Marshall.
Carrying on the real life
do.
Matthews brother tradition.
Right? Exactly.
You, Danielle, and Ryder, you guys said that you've never watched the sitcom before. So now you're rewatching it, kind of going on this journey together. What is your favorite part of that experience? And then bringing that experience to your fans through this podcast.
Yeah, our joke is so Ryder actually came up with the idea of the podcast, but we don't ever give him the credit. So every time we change the name of whoever did. So we're like, when Bill Daniels came up with the idea for the podcast. So I had seen the show when it originally aired. Danielle had seen the show when it originally aired, but Ryder had never watched. So we do a lot of these conventions, which is I'm here in Tampa, Florida right now in a hotel room ready for 90s Con. And we get to meet all our fans everywhere. And Danielle and Ryder and I have stayed very close over the years, and my two best friends. And so we would constantly be having these conversations at dinner, and they got to be more in depth and more in depth. And Ryder finally said, we should just be recording these conversations. This was way before the idea of rewatch podcasts had even existed. And so we just started talking about that. And we actually took some meetings at some places that, because nobody knew the format, they kind of said, so wait, are you watching the show as you talk about it? We said, we don't really know. We just want to kind of, so it took a little while for people to catch up with what we meant. And then the rewatch podcast came out. But that's really how it started. It started with just us at conventions talking, and realizing that we enjoyed having the conversations. Then when Ryder said, guys, I've never actually seen the show, we were like, well, come on, we've got to watch it. And it just started like that. But the best part is doing it with them, frankly. I get to, Danielle is literally my neighbor in real life. So, I mean, she's a 30-second drive away. Ryder lives a little bit farther away, but we've all been so close for so long that this just kind of solidified everything. And so I wouldn't say brought us back together because we were always together, but gets us in the same place all the time, which is nice. And sharing it with the fans, I said before, we have the greatest fans in the world. They're now sharing it with their kids, sometimes their grandkids. So we're meeting generations of Boy Meets World fans, and couldn't be happier that we are.
On Pod Meets World, you have said that you'll only get back on camera if you were to do a Hallmark movie. Do you have a pitch for a Hallmark movie that you would love to star in?
And so many people have now asked me that I probably should come up with one. I just want to be the guy who doesn't, it's like, I don't understand Christmas. I hate Christmas. And then, of course, the love comes into my life. And then there's Christmas. And all of a sudden I'm in a Christmas town for some reason. Maybe I sell Christmas trees, but I don't really like it. We'll work on it. But yes, that's the Hallmark finding love at Christmas movie is like the ultimate dream.
We'd all watch it. We'd all love it. And you're also, so we're talking about, Eric Matthews, Ron Stoppable. You're one of the great Batman of all time. You work with Kevin Conroy, who we all miss so deeply. Why do you think Terry McGinnis has such staying power? And would you ever play Bruce Wayne if offered it?
So, okay, I'll take the second part first. Yes, of course, would be the coolest thing in the world. I think one of the reasons that, frankly, Terry has lasted so long is because he was a teenage Batman. So you got, kids got to come home from school and see themselves as Batman. Hey, there's this regular kid who's only 17 years old, who's now put on the cowl and is the coolest Batman in the world, driving flying car. And yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons that it's sustained so long, is because Bruce is Bruce and will always be Bruce. I mean, he's the curmudgeonly old he was old from the time he was a kid, whereas Terry was the high school kid. He dated, he went to clubs, he did all this stuff, but he was also Batman. And I think a lot of people really love that.
I think a lot of people love that too. And sticking with the voiceover theme, your podcast with your friend Christy Carlson Romano, that was all about voice acting as well. And I know that you've talked about how much you love voice work and the range of characters that it allows you to play. Is there any voiceover character that you hope to play?
So every generation thinks they grew up with the best cartoons, but mine in fact did. So I had G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, Mask, all the best cartoons of all time. So I've luckily gotten a chance to be involved with most of them. When they've come back, I was Bumblebee on Transformers. I was Lion-O on Thundercats. I've gotten to do a lot of really cool things. But the one show I've never had anything to do with was arguably my favorite show growing up, which was G.I. Joe. I always play the young hero, essentially, in everything I'm in. I very rarely get to play the bad guy. So Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe would be one of the coolest parts in the world for me. Yeah, just that crazy, cowardly, yelling Cobra Commander would be awesome. Yeah.
So that's one of your favorite shows. Is one of your favorite shows also MASH? Am I correct?
Well, MASH is my favorite on-camera, like live action show of all time. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so let me ask you this. I got some little this or that's for you. Trapper John or BJ Honeycutt?
Trapper.
Frank Burns or Charles Emerson Winchester III?
Oh, it's so difficult because I love the show so much, but the first 3 seasons are my favorite, so I will go with Frank.
And what about Radar or Klinger?
Both. The best episodes were the ones where they were both on it.
Okay. All right. So great answers. And okay, I have to ask you this because one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite DComs, I should say specifically, which is your favorite of these two, Trojan War or My Date with the President's Daughter?
Oh, geez. Did you see Trojan War?
I have not seen Trojan War the whole
I was going to say, I would owe you $750. So yeah, no, it's so tough because they both meant so much to me for different reasons. The better movie, I would argue, is probably My Date with the President's Daughter. But I had a lot more fun. I mean, they were both so fun, but Trojan War took place at night. So we shot over 40 straight nights, and it was just a really difficult shoot. I was getting soaking wet every night and covered in flour, and I was in every scene. So Trojan War for the actual shooting, and My Date with the President's Daughter for the actual viewing, I think would probably be how I'd answer that.
A great movie. One of my favorite DComs, like I did say. Will, before we go, I have to give a shout out. My friend Bryan Levy, he's a 9th grade history teacher in Baltimore, and he is the biggest Boy Meets World fan I know. Huge fan of yours. He helped me put together some of these questions. He used to be a radio producer in another life.
Okay.
So can I get a little shout out for Bryan?
Hi, Bryan. Thank you for being a teacher. That's amazing. And thank you for the great questions, by the way. But keep teaching. You are Mr. Feeney.
This is not for TV.
Okay.
This is just for Bryan, but he thought it'd be really fun for you.
Okay.
Joe Huxtable and Brad Taylor were both caught with weed on The Cosby Show and Home Improvement, respectively. You spent what seems to be a pretty nutty summer in Amsterdam. I know you kept going back to Amsterdam. Yeah. Which 90s TV kid character would it be most fun to smoke with?
What 90 TV's kid character? Wow, that's funny.
He's the best, I'm telling you.
When she was older, probably Topanga, because you'd never expect it, I would imagine. Or Mr. Feeney, because you would also never expect it.
That would be fun to smoke with Mr. Feeney. That would be a good time. Will, you were so much fun to talk to. This was so cool for me. What an exciting experience. I've been a fan for a long time. And
oh, thank you.
This was so nice. I hope you have so much fun at the show in Philly. I'm so sad I get back from LA the next day, so I'm going to miss the show. And
You're missing the show? We're having some amazing guests too. Like Trina McGee is coming. Matthew Lawrence is coming back to Philly with us. Tony Quinn. Yeah, it's going to be really, really great. So I hate to say it, but you're missing a good one.
I see. I didn't want to ask about the guests. I didn't know if they were secret. So that's
we're good.
Okay. Oh my gosh, they must be so excited as well to come on. And
they are. We're all very, very excited to do it. And we we just made sure that we could do it because of the SAG strike. So we wanted to support our union, make sure that it was okay with them. So they were like, go do your show. So we've been very, very excited to do it.
I'm so glad you brought that up too, because it's funny. We've been I usually do a lot of these interviews to promote movies and stuff. And right now we're not doing it. And I'm part of SAG, like the reporters here are. So I'm trying to support it too. I've got friends who are in the writers union, WGA.
Sure.
So I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I guess since it's a podcast, it's different. Yeah. And it's just you guys. So that's wonderful that you're able to do it, but still support all of your friends and colleagues.
Yeah, but that's how we felt good about that, which is nice. And we're going to try to fit in as many Beyonce and Taylor Swift quotes onto the stage as we possibly can, because I know that's the thing. So we will make sure that we do that.
Oh my gosh, I'm like fangirling so hard right now.
Of course.
That is so cool. Listen, Will, you are so awesome. I've got to go do a shoot with a shelter dog to try to get it adopted for Clear.
Oh, sweet. Go do that. That's way more important than me.
No, this was so much fun. You are such a delight. And
thank you.
Good luck in Tampa. I love Florida. I hate how much I love Florida. I don't want to love it, but I do. But have fun, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the convention, the 90s convention, and have so much fun at the show in Philly.
By the way, I have to tell you, we also just announced our Pittsburgh date. So come to Pittsburgh if you can't come to Philly.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. All right, get some more PA dates out there. That's perfect. Okay, Will, thank you so much.
Perfect.
Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
weekend. It
You
was
too.
a joy to meet you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Bye.
Bye.